The moment
Can we
I
not
hit
ever
that
do that again?
I like that little beat, all right? Makes me feel good. I feel like a party's about to happen. Well, the moment... Do you hear that?
Oh. Glad we don't pay you, Miguel. No, just kidding.
The moment I hit the live button, it started getting closer, like sneaking on closer.
Oh,
That doesn't sound like sneaking to me.
Not sneaky enough, but it is what it is. Hey Cam, how you doing, brother? How's it going? I am trying to get some sharing in, but my stupid phone wouldn't update fast enough, so that's great.
Oh shit!
I am sharing.
All right, yeah, time to get a little sharing in at least.
Whoa.
Go to that live. And then not only got to share it, but I need a little break. I'm gonna light my cigar. I need a cigar when I talk to you people because you're so mean to me. So
right. I thought about smoking the rest of my fucking La Diva, but someone frowns upon that so fucking hard.
You don't relight a cigar like that. It doesn't. Bad Joe.
I do it just to annoy you anymore. You know that, right?
Terrible people. Terrible people.
Okay. Oh my goodness, you guys.
Well, welcome to Girls, Gore, and Gin, guys.
Hello, everyone. Oh, cool. There's people watching. Cute too.
Yeah.
Glad to see you all here today. How's it going, guys? How you been?
Trying not to think how apocalyptic it feels outside.
Yeah, I'm trying to like think clean air thoughts.
I'm going the opposite. I'm trying to fight smoke with more smoke, and I think I'm winning. I'm doing a good job.
Okay.
I feel you.
And we have some phenomenal watching with us. Phenomenal Junebug, how you doing?
Thanks for joining us. Hey Nick, thanks for joining us too.
Yes, Nick, how you doing? How you doing? Guys, we got a busy show today because I think we each touched on different serial killers. We each got some really good news. Let's get into this. Let's start with the best way to start any day off with some would you rather, please.
All right. Would you rather accidentally, these are accidents, shoot your big toe off or accidentally cut off your finger?
What, any finger? Or it
doesn't matter. But I'm thinking like you're cooking, so whatever finger you use to chop.
Well, I need my middle one, and a thumb's not a finger. So I need my middle one, and I at least need my pinky.
You need your middle finger.
I need my scolding finger. I don't need the ring finger, so my ring finger could go. My toe, wouldn't I? Don't you lose your balance if you don't have a big toe or something? Yeah. I'll lose my ring finger over that. Yeah, I'll lose my ring finger because I have a purpose for all the other things.
All right, I got these purposes. If it was a random finger, I guess I'd still be okay. I mean, it's not gonna be both middle fingers.
You never know when you need that second one, Miguel.
Double, yeah, that's a good point. Oof, that's rough. I gotta keep the toe though,
Well, I'm going with walking around with a gimp forever because I like to play my guitar and I can't do that if I don't have all my fingers. Well, some people can, but I can't.
That's a good point, though. Yeah, I forget like how many things that would affect, like what I could hold or what I could do with my hand if I'm missing a digit. It's like, oh, it's nice to meet you. Yeah,
it's already. Hand.
I'm already regretting my decision now. I have no idea what I would do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with I'll give up my ring finger. On either hand, it doesn't matter.
Can I make a bargain in both pinky toes? Because I feel like those aren't necessary anyway.
Useless toes.
It doesn't equal a big toe.
don't know. Who are you, the toe measuring police? It could be.
Oh my gosh.
2 pinky toes and 1 pinky finger. Final offer. That's it.
I bet there's somebody out there who's found pictures of Miguel's toes.
You don't want that.
There's toe people out there, you weirdos.
That's
I don't think I've ever seen Miguel's feet. I'm scared now. Now, God damn it. Now I'm going to have to look. It's like...
Stay away from my feet. I hate my feet. I hate feet. Oh, goddamn. Oh. That took a
show us your toes, Miguel.
It's not gonna happen. That's a no. Yeah. This is a non-starter. It's not happening.
Hashtag Miggy toes.
Oh, Richard, that's absolutely correct.
Yeah. They're just to catch and hurt you beyond belief, and then be useless the rest of the day.
To find hard objects in the night.
Oh yeah.
It's the fucking worst. Fuck that pinky toe.
Right there was stepping on a Lego.
Fuck that toe. Oh, my nose. Excuse me. All right, so we got that. I think we're in consensus. Toe. I'm gonna go toe as well. So that's 2 toes to a finger. God, that's the weirdest thing I've had to say today.
Another Thursday.
Yeah, just another Thursday.
Welcome back.
Let's go into a little strange news before we take off too far. I got a little strange news for you guys too.
Ooh. Okay, well, I'll make this as brief as possible. It's kind of, I don't know, it's strange and it's sad at the same time. But it's Fort Hood. If they haven't been investigated yet, or if they're not working on it, they should. They definitely should. There's been, since March of this year, there's been 10 dead soldiers there. Whether it's suicide or murder. And between 2016 to present day, they dealt with 165 deaths. And yeah, that's a lot of deaths. That's a lot of deaths. But just to break it down real quick, 57 were accidents. One was not that long ago. There was like a truck that was trying to cross a creek. And a flash flood happened and it turned the truck sideways and swept it away real quick. And I think there were 12 people on it and 9 of them died. So that was counted as an accident out of 57. So that's what qualifies as an accident for them. 6 were combat related. 16 were due to illness. 9 have been undetermined. 7 were homicides and 70 were suicides.
70?
70 were suicides. And a lot of people don't want to go seek out mental health, especially at Fort Hood at their facilities, because they do offer medical treatment there in different ways for the people there. And basically when you go there, if you're seeking mental health because you're depressed or you have anxiety or what have you, you get special treatment and you get treated a different way. So people don't go and seek help. So their problems just kind of build and escalate, and then all kinds of weird shit happens, and then they end up dead, and then nothing happens to Fort Hood. It just ends up on the news real quick, and then it goes away, and then something else, and then it goes away. But in the past 4 years, 165 deaths in 4 years related to Fort Hood. So, yeah.
That's too much. That's crazy.
And I guess they just recently fired the general there, and they've replaced him with someone new. So we'll see what happens. It's known to be a very corrupt military base. So,
yeah, sounds like it. Yeah, geez. Yeah. The only thing I heard about that was the few really, I hate to put it this way, but more popular stories that made the news. I think like two out of what you said, 140,
65, right?
Yeah, in 4 years. But between March of this year and now, there's been 10 deaths and most of those were suicides. One was the Vanessa Guillen, where she was brutally attacked and murdered, and then he and his girlfriend tried to dispose of her body, and then he went and committed suicide. So she was murdered. He counts as a suicide.
Oh, all right, I guess.
Jeez. So he counts in that 70, and she counts in that 7. Gosh. But there was also a young man in November of last year, I believe, that went out and committed suicide as well. So, and he was briefly put on the news. It was more local stories than it was national. Most like the other stories, but yeah. So strange.
We didn't know that shit.
Mm-hmm. So very interesting, very strange, especially since there was 9 undetermined.
Yeah.
That's a lot of undetermined in 4 years. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, undetermined. Like, how do you not know in the military? Like, don't you have people that investigate that shit, supposedly?
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't look into what they classify as undetermined, like accidents, like I said earlier, flash flood killed most of the fucking crew that was out there, so that qualifies as an accident. But undetermined, I mean, maybe it could have been, maybe they went off base and got some stuff and came back and OD'd or something, or maybe they went off base and something happened and they couldn't tell if it was a suicide or a homicide or whatever it was. I don't know what they classify as undetermined, but I am kind of interested to find out a little more about it. Yeah. But that's my strange news.
Undetermined, I think, could most likely mean aliens. And I'm going to go with aliens that I think you were going to bring up, but I don't want to do that because people were like, the New Jersey alien sighting that stopped a bunch of cars, a few thousand people stopped to look at this, and then the news wants to say it's a blimp. I say no. I have irrefutable proof right here in video form. So let me pull that up.
They've already told us about aliens. They can't take it back now.
Super duper aliens, all right? It has to be. And then I'm going to bring this full screen real quick. And then this is just part of a clip of one video, but listen to the witness, and you'll understand why it has to be aliens.
Oh my God, no lo puedo creer.
Right here. Right.
Oh shit! No! Just make a video, please, guys. This is what's holding everybody up. It's a UFO.
Oh my God!
Right there, irrefutable proof.
That's what makes it proof, is because she said, "Oh my God, bitch, it's a UFO."
Exactly. We need a T-shirt of that. It's a UFO, bitch. Gotta be a T-shirt.
Miguel's doing this, and there's like a UFO underneath, and it says, "Oh my God, bitch, it's a UFO."
You cannot get more close to the truth than that. Okay. Every episode of X-Files wanted to be that edgy, but they couldn't at the time.
Yeah, okay.
Undeniable. Okay.
Oh my God.
It most likely was probably that Goodyear blimp. And I'm a little disappointed because I thought it was gonna be aliens. Turned out it was not aliens.
Yeah.
But I did get a kick out of watching people's reactions to thinking it was aliens, because if we had time, I'd go further into that, and you could see car after car, people getting off on a freeway to stare at this, which clearly, because of the way the clouds were going and the lighting, it made something ominous out there. It really did made something very more ominous than a Goodyear blimp. Richard saying, "So glad you are showing actual footage. At first, I thought you were just going to show a clip from Mac and Me." That was going to be that was choice 2. All right.
Oh,
but yeah, I love that movie.
That's what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
That's harsh. That's harsh.
It was a cheap ET knockoff. He looked like a little, chubby, bald Persian man. So
you say like it's a bad thing. Anyway, I think it's time. It's time for something we can laugh at more than that poor lady being scared by definitely aliens.
All right. So, a Southern man in the 1990s, it's not specified, he robbed a World War II veteran and stole his .45 caliber pistol. He went to a local convenience store and robbed it at gunpoint. While he was leaving, the cameras showed that he, I guess, decided he wanted to get rid of any witnesses, even though there's a camera that he didn't know about. So he went back and tried to fire the gun at the clerk. However, vintage firearms don't always work properly, so there was a delay. As he was looking down the barrel of it to try to figure out what was going on with it.
As one should do.
Long story short, the veteran got his gun back. And the same officer that responded to the veteran actually responded to the robbery.
Oh my god. Oh my.
You shouldn't steal from old people.
Maybe he thought that like a flag was gonna pop out that said "bang" on it. Like nothing's gonna happen. Clink.
So,
oh my goodness.
But yeah, haha.
This is not John Wick. You don't steal antique guns and like, oh, this is totally gonna work for me. I'm a badass. No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And there's a camera. You didn't see the camera, but you think, oh, I'll kill everyone, so that makes it better.
Oh my gosh.
There's so much terrible there. I really wish they made more guns that just like did the same thing. Like there's a little delay, so if someone's stupid enough, they shoot themselves every time. Oh gosh.
In a perfect world.
We need video clip of that actually. If they had that surveillance footage, I would watch that and put it like a Vine with sad womp 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 music in the background when he shoots himself. He deserves it. What an idiot. Oh my god. I'm sorry, where did you say that was again?
In the South somewhere. It wasn't specified. Somewhere
Florida?
I'm in the 90s. I don't know, probably.
Sounds like the South,
He's
unfortunately.
a World War II vet, so maybe like South, you know?
The deep South.
Deep South. Where
back when they were gonna fight them Germans.
Oh my gosh. That's a good way to segue into people who were much better at killing, I think. Because they were serial killers.
That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, someone never caught.
So some were never caught, which sucks to say.
Yeah.
But it is true. Who wants to go first? Who wants to go up? Oh.
Did you get one too, Miguel? Were you a part of this segment?
I got 3. What are you talking about? I went.
Oh my god!
You're gonna participate.
He's going all the way.
I did last week too. I don't understand what's going on right now. I feel flabbergasted. I feel thunderstruck right now.
He's trying really hard today.
I feel like there's an alien right over there, and I got to film it on my phone. That's how much you guys got me shook right now. Anyway,
Miguel, since you're our guest, why don't you go first? Yeah.
I will start us off here because I went a different route a little bit. Because a lot of the serial killers I kept finding, I'm like, well, we've heard about that or we've talked about it a little bit. So I decided to pick America's most prolific serial killer, guaranteed, like they have evidence, and the most kills ever considered true. And both of these are much different time periods of cases. I'll go with the one they think could have had the most kills of any U.S. Serial killer. He goes by John Liver Eater Johnson, and he was born in 1824. And basically, his story goes is that he had a run-in after the Mexican-American War with a Native American tribe called the Crow Indian, and basically he was a badass dude. You know, he was one of those old mountain men, frontier kind of guys that if you shoot them, they kind of just cover it with some mud and it'll be fine in a couple days. Those real deep legends where it's probably not most of it true, but enough to where it's like, damn, why would you really do that? But the vendetta he had against these this tribe of Indians lasted generational. He went from grandfather to father to kid, murdering, and as the legend says, eating livers. So much that he changed the amount of people in this tribe. And there is a little bit of proof that the numbers were dwindling around the same time of this alleged serial killer going to town on these people. His number when he ended was about 300. So much so that I believe, let me see if I can find it, if this is the right one. The tribe actually pretty much cut a deal with him because he was also hunting that tribe for enemy tribes of them and collecting bounties on that tribe he didn't like. So he got his own personal vendetta, then some money or some bounty on top of that. He was never going to stop. So they actually made him an elder of their tribe, and they squashed this decade-long feud he had with him. And he lived until he was 75 because he died in 1900. So he lived till the next century.
That's crazy. People didn't usually live that long back then.
No, but he died in Santa Monica, California, and I believe his gravesite is still over in Cody, Wyoming, where he did most of his work, if you want to call it that. And they've made a big statue to him on top of a horse, and it's Liver Eating Johnson is where the statue is right now. That is a real statue. The story itself, I'm guessing nowhere near that. He might have killed like 4 guys or something, and they just like, oh, he's evil. It's so crazy, as they did back then. But you never know at the same time. You really never know.
He's a witch.
He's a goddamn witch. He's an alien bitch. All right, he's there. He's all those things. But yeah, that's my first one. I'll let you guys go with another one before I go on to my next.
Okay, you want to go next, Lauren?
Okay. All right, so Christopher Wilder killed 8 women in 3 months in 1984 across Florida, Georgia, Texas, Utah, Kansas, California, and New York. In 1945, he was born in Australia. When he was 18, he got probation for participating in a gang rape on a beach. Probation, first of all. This motherfucker. Wow. He got electric shock therapy to supposedly help with his urges and impulses, but I guess it made it worse because he always wanted complete control over every situation and everything. He married once in 1968, but he was divorced a week later. Nobody knows why his wife left. Maybe due to his sexual urges. He took up real estate after he moved to the U.S. The following year, 1969. He went by the name of David Pierce and he got into real estate and photography. So he started off by telling girls that he could help them with their modeling career. And he met a girl at a shopping center. He drugged and raped her, and he got therapy and probation again for that. And it didn't stop there. In 1980, he abducted a girl named Carla. I couldn't pronounce her last name. I wasn't going to try. Or he attempted to abduct her when he went back to Australia to visit his parents. She was about, I don't know her age. But he also had another issue with 2 15-year-old girls in Australia.
Jesus.
And his parents posted his bail and got him out. So he went back to Florida because he had a residency there, and his case was delayed, so he was waiting. 2 years later, he met Rosario Gonzalez at a Miami racetrack and was trying to obviously get her to model for him and stuff. She was participated in the Miss Florida pageant at one point. So he was trying to use that, like, I can take your pictures and blah, blah, blah. And I guess witnesses says that she was leaving the racetrack with an unknown man, which is obviously him. They never found her body. They never found her. There was another woman that he dated named Elizabeth Kenyon, which they never found her either. She participated in that same beauty pageant. and she had also dated Christopher. So that following March, Teresa Ferguson, he ended up murdering her. They found her body 5 days later. A 19-year-old in Florida. She was a university student. She refused to take photos for him, and he killed her. In Georgia, he raped a girl in a hotel. She managed to get away. Her name was Linda, I believe. She was one of the only survivors, I think. The next day, he ran away to Texas and attacked Terry Walden because she also refused to take photos for him. She went missing 2 days later. They found her not sexually assaulted per se, but bound and stabbed. Suzanne Logan in Oklahoma, a woman named Cheryl at a mall in Colorado, Michelle in Las Vegas. He ended up being on the most wanted list, FBI's most wanted list. He had not a prostitute, but he had a girl that he raped and then forced to bring victims for him to abuse.
Jesus.
He ended up escaping. He then, I think his last victim was a girl that, why did they say that she was the only one to survive? Because this girl survived. A girl had broken down, and he pulled a gun on her, and after she got in his car, because he was going to play the Good Samaritan. Mm-hmm. And so he slowed down because he had the gun. She ended up jumping out. He got all his shit moved up. He was trying to go to New Hampshire, and he was close to Canada when state troopers actually caught him. They thought he looked suspicious. But he tried to grab a gun from his car, and he ended up getting in a struggle and shooting himself. So
that is an insane amount of crime.
Gnarly shit. Yeah.
And all that was
1984. This is all within a 3-month period.
Wow.
And I don't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's straight up just the berserker rampage of hurting people. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, this guy was nuts.
Oh, my Lord.
Jeez. So the last moment of his life, though, he was struggling with the police, and the gun went off and hit himself, basically.
Yeah, he shot himself twice.
Good. Good.
Oh, wow.
There's a theme this evening.
But before we move on real quick, Stephen Chang, happy birthday, brother. I didn't see it on the
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Hope you have a great day today.
Yeah, man.
It's your birthday.
It's your birthday. There's actually a couple of my buddies' birthdays today. So yeah, everybody have a great birthday. I'm glad y'all are with us and watching.
Virgos. Wait, is it Virgo season?
I don't know. I know I'm a Taurus, but then they switched it. I'm like, no, I'm not switching. I'm a Taurus. So take that. I'm stubborn.
Oh Lord. Okay. Ready for another one, guys?
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm gonna do The Butcher of Kingsborough Run. This happened in the 1930s in Cleveland, Ohio. There's approximately between 12 and 20 victims. They suspect there's a lot more.
Damn.
He's also known as the Cleveland Torso Murderer. He killed men and women, so he didn't really have a preference. He just wanted to snatch whoever he can snatch.
It's really progressive.
What happened?
It's really progressive of him. I love that.
Right? All-inclusive. The lead detective who was on this case, he believed the same person who did this also killed 13 people between Ohio and Pittsburgh in the 20s, so 10 years prior. The killings in Cleveland, Ohio started in 1935, and most of his victims were castrated and decapitated. Some were drained and cleaned up properly, or they were, I guess, dressed like a butcher would do.
Yeah.
And then they found one lady. They couldn't recover her head, and her entire body was covered in some kind of preservative, and they could never understand why, because it was very random that he did it like that. Because normally, like, the killers usually kind of do the same thing every time, but like he was starting to do different shit. In 1938, Elliot Ness, he was also working on the case, and he, one morning, outside of his office, there was like the corpse of a headless woman, and so he got really pissed off and got like this gang of like guys and cops and shit to go out to Kingsbury Run, which was like a little shanty kind of town. And they went and searched it and interrogated people and did all kinds of shit. And then they ended up burning the town to the ground. Like, and a lot of people were mad about it. And he was just like, whatever. But when he did that, the murder stopped. And there was a doctor that Elliot Ness suspected that he actually interviewed. What was his name? Francis E. Sweeney, which I thought was crazy because I thought of Sweeney Todd, like the Harbor Murder.
Oh,
but
I heard that.
This guy's like a torso, like, surgeon kind of guy. Anyway, so when Elliot Ness took those guys into that Kingsbury Run and like burnt it down, that was in like August of 1938. And in the later months of 1938, this Francis Sweeney committed himself to a mental asylum. He's actually a doctor. Oh yeah. So Elliot Ness, when he interviewed him, he honestly believed that, the Sweeney guy was the murderer in the 20s and in the 30s. He thought he was the same guy that like did all this shit, but he didn't have like enough evidence at the time to prove that he did it. And while this Sweeney guy was in this sanitarium, he would send Elliot Ness like these taunting postcards, like basically talking shit to him because he's like, ha ha ha, you haven't cracked the case yet. Like, why haven't you closed this case yet? Why haven't you figured it out? Kind of shit. Later on, like, Elliot Ness tried to run for mayor of Cleveland, and because he burnt down that city, it caused him to lose the election. But yeah.
Yeah, that should kind of affect your cases or your chances of winning.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, in public service. I burnt down a city, but you know what? I'm really going to be good on the tax plan. So just vote for me anyway. Yeah. And how did you say the body was preserved? The one that was kind of different from his others? It was just in a different way?
She was covered in a preservative.
Okay. That kind of takes...
Sorry, go ahead.
There's a little tangent because as soon as you said that, it reminded me of something I saw earlier. I got a picture of it here too. If I'm ever serial killed, like if anyone out there is going to do that to me, if you're watching, I would prefer this particular method of preservation.
Serial kill.
I saw a mouse in degreaser got lost in an auto thing, and this is a mouse that was sitting in degreaser for too long.
Oh.
What?
You see that? Yeah, you can see the insides of it. The skin is gone, and you can literally get a look at its whole system. So if anybody decides like, oh, I'm gonna have to murder Miguel, and I will have my revenge on him or whatever, whatever the reason you might have to, do me a favor at least, just soak me in degreaser and see if the same thing will happen to me. Just be cool about it. But that when you said that popped into my mind like right away for some reason. Obviously it's probably not the same in any way, but the moment you said like the covered in a preservative, I was like, that's diabolical in so many different ways, but also fascinating.
So you want us to put you in a greaser? Degreaser. A degreaser. Okay.
I want to come back as a peach tree and a pot plant.
A little bit of.
I want to be a biovirgin.
I know, and I think they can do that in Italy or some shit. But I don't know about anywhere else. I'd like to be.
Probably not, because it's like biohazard kind of bullshit.
Whatever. Humans are supposed to decay and decompose.
But if you take someone's ashes and you mix it in the soil, isn't that technically kind of growing back into that plant? I'm just throwing that out there.
I would agree. Yeah, I'm going to say yes to that. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm not promoting anything. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Richard, taxidermy Miguel. You guys can like put certain things inside me, so you could pose me whatever you want, like random.
Finally, boudoir you, and you don't get to argue about it.
At that point, yeah, I guess so. You could put like a GoPro in my forehead or something, or like my eyes, and you could live stream everything I see from then on. Boom.
Then you'll wear whatever the fuck I buy you.
So they're gonna yell at my dead corpse. That's great. That feels wonderful. Thanks, guys.
I wasn't gonna treat you any different just because you're dead.
I appreciate that. You know what? That's actually comforting. I like that. As long as you guys still rip on me as much as possible, you know. Don't. That's the plot of How High. Is that really? What? I don't think I've seen that. Yeah, I have never seen How High.
Red Man? Really? It was dumb.
Is that the one where he goes back to school?
It was funny, but it was dumb. Yeah.
I had no idea. I've watched like bits and pieces. I didn't know what it was called. I was like, this is kind of funny, and then I changed the channel. Totally off topic. Weekend at Miguel's. Thank you so much for my body stuff. And I can't remember where, but there's a ritual with dead bodies where they let the vultures come eat your body to the bones.
Fuck yeah! Take my
moving to air. It's called moving to Arizona.
Right? Just throw me out in the desert.
I swear that's where people go to like just rot and die out. It's like just let the fucking buzzards pick me. Like let me just be one with the fucking earth for a second.
Go. I'm not using it anymore. Eat it away. Go ahead. I'm done with it anyway.
Exactly. Give it a purpose.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. I'm sorry. I totally got us off topic on that one. But Joe, I'm sorry. Was there more to the serial killer? Or?
No, they never found him. They just suspected highly that it was this doctor that had committed himself to an insane asylum shortly after this little shanty town was burned. So, yeah.
That is intense. Oh.
Yep.
Do you think it was who they said it was? The Sweeney guy?
Yeah. Hell yeah, I do.
Pretty much like, yeah. Okay.
Because come on, a butcher is pretty much the only one really who would know how to handle.
He was like a surgeon. He was a surgeon or some kind of doctor.
Oh.
And so he knew how to do things like he knew how to cleanly.
The preserving thing threw me off.
Yeah, he knew how to drink a body of blood and clean it up, and he knew how to put preservatives and shit. Like he was a doctor.
I thought preservatives like saving it later.
Like strawberry preserves. Nom 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 nom.
Like how like back in the day they just used to coat meat in salt.
Mm-hmm.
Make me hungry.
Oh,
dumbass.
no.
I'm hungry.
I am too. Oh my gosh. But no, like yeah, so yeah. That's who that was. Never caught him, but they highly suspected it was him. I think it was him. It makes sense. So he lived in close proximity to where all the bodies were found in Cleveland. And he was in the Cleveland, Pittsburgh area in the 20s when all those people were missing too. And all those murders happened and they were all basically the same way. So like basically off and on for about 20 years, the guy was like killing people.
Jeez.
So.
Well, I've got my next one is actually very recently. And he got a 2-year span of his killing spree, apparently. Clarence Brown, also known as the Metro Detroit serial killer, was active from 2019 to 2020. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this year. He died in February, shooting himself when he was about to be caught, basically. So he took the easy way out, little jerk. But he credited with 6 victims. Although he had prior arrests and whatnot, and its criminal activity was basic, like stealing and arson, things like that. But never was he ever convicted for any of the actual murders. But what brought it to my attention was that I have not heard anything about this guy, and there's still a very small information about him. There's some articles I'm looking through, but it's so recent. But with everything going on, you've kind of figured it must have gotten buried. But these kind of stories usually hit up the papers. You know, if there's a serial killer, and this is something that ended just a few months ago. I mean, February, for God's sake.
Yeah.
What is that? 4 months, 5 months ago?
Fuck.
Wow.
Yeah. And I honestly don't remember us ever kind of bringing up this particular one.
No.
Just looking at it. So Clarence Brown, I think, is one we got to do a deep dive in, because this is the most recent as far as serial killers go, for things to cover. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can do this. But hopefully they also have some more information on them, because it's a little small, which is why I kind of got a couple others together. But it just blew my mind how recent it is and how little I've heard about it, if I've heard about it at all, because I don't remember really before trying to get some research in earlier today and yesterday.
I've never heard of this guy. I was just gonna ask you guys too, like, what do you guys think that there are still like really like a lot of serial killers out there nowadays with all the technology we have and like DNA and all that shit? Like,
no, they're starting to backtrack and catch like the old ones that are still alive, like the Golden State Killer and like Samuel Little, a whole bunch of people. But I guess only like 150 people are killed a year by serial killers. So it only counts as like 1% of all homicides in the U.S. per year. So it's really not that likely that you're going to run into like you don't have to worry about getting snatched up by, hey, get in my car, have some candy, little girl, and some tiny chocolate. It's just like, yeah, you can't fool me, old man. But
so are you saying that I might not get put into greaser?
No. Probably not.
Whatever.
I mean, I think, aren't there sites for that shit though? Like, Lauren, didn't you see something about like this guy like selling his like wiener meat or something on like Facebook for cannibals to eat or some shit?
Oh yeah, that story that I did, like a weird cannibal website that it was like in Germany.
Yeah.
The German guy like had a dude come over and he voluntarily let him cut off and eat his dick.
Yeah,
he was
like
in the bathtub while he's like cooking it in front of him, like.
So there's got to be a website for that, Miguel. So
yeah. There's something for everybody.
Something for everybody.
Frau von Sickenstein out there that'll help you out.
I can only hope, honestly. A boy can dream, that's whatever. All right, guys, we're gonna have to move quickly through the next few ones because I'm gonna move my camera and show you something here. You know how bad the mosquitoes are this year, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm getting eaten alive.
Oh shit.
They are swarming by me.
Holy shit.
I'm
That's a lot, dude.
That is a lot, and I do not want to get eaten up more than I am. I have bites everywhere, and I looked over to my right. I'm freaking out a little bit because I know they're out here, but they have not gathered like this. They're coming from like Seoul.
Get them citronella candles.
I have some. I should have lit them. I didn't even think about it honestly, because over here I usually never get bit where I'm at right now, because all the water and stuff is on that
These
side.
new ones don't give a shit. They're mutated. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, Peanut got us a new bug zapper. So
that's great little tennis rackets.
It's like this fucking big, like around. It's like industrial.
It's not like a hand one.
My parents, we have one of those too, but like he's got like a one that you hang. Like
my parents have those tennis racket ones all the time.
He's got one.
God.
He's so fun with that shit.
He was like staring at it the other day.
What?
I could have swore I saw Joey's Facebook post. I forgot how exciting or how interesting bug zappers are. Like watching it like it was TV or something.
He's having fun because it attracts moths. So he's been standing outside waiting for the moths, and then he's got the hand racket and then the zapper there. So he's like double duty. Like
Hiya, hiya.
He has so much. He could do it for hours. I swear. I'm like, all right, you babe. Okay.
What about the salt gun?
Huh?
The salt gun. Does he have the salt gun still?
Oh, the bug assault.
Yeah.
We use that. We use that for flies though.
Nice.
And then we pull off a wing and we throw him in a spider web.
Fuck that bug.
Hey, spiders gotta eat.
It's true. All right. Well, who's got the next serial killer for us?
I got a short one. I'm pretty sure I might have done this one already, but that's okay. I'm gonna do it again. Jane Poppin was born in Boston, Massachusetts. She was born under a different name, but I couldn't pronounce it. And I'm not gonna try and butcher it today. So, she was born to an Irish couple. Nobody really knows much about her childhood except that her father, Peter Kelly, was an alcoholic, abusive, and they often called him Kelly the Crack, meaning like fucking
Crack pipe.
So in 1863, she had a sister. Peter took the girls to a Boston female asylum, basically like a place for orphaned girls and a place for women. And he left them there and they never saw him again. She eventually was taken in by a family. She was never legally adopted by them, but Anne Toppin was the name of the lady that took her in. But Jane decided to go by their last name. In 1885, she started training to be a nurse, and they often called her Jolly Jane. She was kind of chunky too. Until she wasn't so jolly and started using patients as test subjects with morphine and atropine. She started fucking with their nervous systems, and they would go in and out of consciousness, and sometimes she'd even crawl in bed with them. In 1895, she went on a poisoning spree and ended up killing 31 patients.
Damn.
Yeah. In October 1901, she was caught, and she told them that she wanted to kill more people and that she would have killed more people. They found her not guilty by reason of insanity, and they put her in a Taunton insane hospital where she died at the age of 84 in October of 1938.
Damn.
Yeah, she was crazy. But, I mean, kind of sad, like her dad was a piece of shit. Nobody knows really much about her mom. So she was probably got abused in that home, too, she was in, because most places like that didn't treat children well, especially in the 1800s. Nobody gave a fuck about kids.
Yeah. Aye. Well, I got a short one as well. The Atlanta Ripper.
That's the minor league football team over there, I thought.
That's what I thought too.
Sorry, I had to.
Plot twist. It's not. This was between 1911 and 1912-ish. Estimated between 15 and 21 victims, all Black women. Let's see. This was in Atlanta, Georgia, and at the time the population was only 150,000 people. There was a lot of. It was highly white populated. Segregation was the law. It wasn't necessarily a choice.
Sounds about white.
Yeah. So this one, the killer, he would always go on Saturday nights to go and snatch, these women up. And let's see, they ended up kind of like comparing him to Jack the Ripper in the UK. They started calling him Black Jack the Ripper. I want to say there was another name for him too. Oh, just the Atlanta Ripper. Yeah, and Black Jack the Ripper. Anyway, 3 men were arrested in suspicion of the murders, but the murders happened. They kept happening anyway. They ended up letting one of them out, and then eventually the government in Atlanta ended up like shutting down the whole deal saying that it was a myth, that there's not really somebody out there killing all these Black women like this, and all this, like, just totally shut the whole thing down and didn't give any real reason why, because there was such strong evidence saying otherwise. Like, no, this is a pattern. This is happening. Like, this is a real fucking thing. Yeah. So no one was ever officially charged with being the Atlanta Ripper, and there may have been a lot more victims at the time because, you know, the way it was, you know, Black people were treated unjustly and unfairly, and cases were always pushed off as something else. So there's probably a lot more women who their cases were just pushed off as something else when it was part of this problem, and then the whole government just let the whole thing just wash away. That's fucking shitty. But yeah. So yeah.
That's just so. Okay. Oh, it didn't really happen. Don't worry about it. Go back to your lives.
Basically, it never happened. It's It's fake news. It's a conspiracy theory. Put your potato sack hats away.
That's the exact same reason why the dude in Canada was able to kill. Like, I think he got almost a 50 before they even really started looking for him. In Coquitlam, I think it was. They just like, no, these women, all these street working women, they just go up and leave, you know, sometimes, and they're adults, so they can go wherever they want.
Yeah, they do that all the time here in America. Just because like sex workers aren't treated like real people, they're like, they're transients. They just go and you come and go whenever they please. Like, it's not always the case. Like, you ever heard of human trafficking, bro? Like,
yeah.
Straight up murder here. God dang.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Oh, well, this is a Debbie Downer of an episode now that I think about it. But at the same time, very fascinating, guys. That was a good one. I did not know about that. The last one I have, we have talked about before, but when I said the first one, the liver eater guy being the most unconfirmed kills of all time, I wanted to also pick the guy who had the most confirmed kills in U.S. history. So that's going to be Samuel Little. Still more news coming out about him because he was caught not too long ago. I mean, what was it? Last year? The year before? Or no, sorry. He was caught in 2012, excuse me, but he only really started getting all of his stuff released the last couple years.
I wonder why.
Still very well. I think he hit it pretty well, right?
Well,
I'm assuming, yeah.
He's got like a really unique mind. Like he has like what you would call a photographic memory. Like he has almost 100 victims that they have recorded, I think, like 90 something. And every woman, he can tell you where he picked them up, what the buildings around the woman looked like what was there in the 70s. Like this building was there in the 70s on this street, and what she wore, what she looked like, what she smelled like. He may not have remembered her name, but he remembered vividly, visually everything about the experience, and he could also draw it on paper like a sketch artist almost could. I mean, they weren't like, you know, they weren't magnificent pieces of art, but he started drawing these, you know, these women, and they started matching up with his description of women who were missing. They were Jane Does. And they're like, holy shit. Okay, well, who, you know, where did you say you picked this lady up at? Okay, well, let's look in this area. Holy shit, it's this lady. Like, he was hitting the nail on the head, like every single time. After decades have gone by. And
it's probably what he uses for his
spank bank.
To reminisce and
because he didn't have to physically keep any evidence, because, you know, usually serial killers keep something, you know what I mean, like
little trophy.
BTK took shit.
Yeah, he had kept their IDs and shit like that.
Geen.
That Geen literally kept things. Oh shit. That's like Pinterest. That's like the start of Pinterest finest right there. That's upcycling at its best. Jesus.
What do you call it? Then,
I think that's why he started getting a lot of notoriety, is because it started coming out more and more, and they're like, okay, well, maybe if we put him out in the public, we can start getting their help with solving more of these cold cases and getting them closed and out of the way, so we can focus on other shit and their families can get closure.
Trials do sometimes take years too, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
That's probably why too.
And
God,
as you're saying though, that's why we have so many confirmed of him, is why he's the number one as far as confirmed kills go in the U.S. history. 61 actually. And the closest one to him is 49, which is still obviously horrible, but that's such a big gap between those two. And
well, he still has more to confirm. See, that's only, would you say 61 or 64?
It's at 61 right now for him, but yeah, it's at 93 or higher.
93. Yeah. And they're still figuring out who these people are. So that's going to be fucking insane if it proves to be well past the 90s, even at the 90s. Like, holy shit, really? That's insane. How do you live, dude? You killed that many people like that willingly. It's fucking crazy.
A lot of serial killers have a pattern of, like, obviously we talked about this before, like, of abuse and stuff, but sometimes it's like brain injuries, accidents that happen when they're young. Like, that's some shit that, like, I don't know, man. If I have kids and they fucking have a brain injury, I'm putting them in therapy. I'm, like, doing everything I can. They don't turn out to be fucking crazy because they got knocked out, you know?
I wouldn't doubt if, like, some of this shit happens to, like, some people are born, like they say, born killers, because people, you know, they have, you know, some women, like, they smoke or they drink or, you know, they do drugs while they're pregnant, or, you know, they have an abusive boyfriend, or they do have an accident and fall, you know, and, like, you know, it was an accident. Or medications they take can cause changes in a baby that's not even developed yet. So I kind of think that sometimes you can be born that way too. I don't think it's likely, but I don't know. It's scary.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Psychology,
really,
the way the brain works.
Yeah,
it's cool. Thanks.
But that's the ones I got for tonight, guys. That's
it was it.
Yep.
All right, guys. Yeah, then that does it for tonight. We were at time in a minute anyway. Yeah, thank goodness there are less serial killers, I guess. That's good.
Yeah. Thank goodness for technology.
Right?
As one of them showed us earlier today, they are still technically active even this year. So that's great. That's great news. Love that. Yep.
It's like almost the chances of winning the lotto, I think.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I mean,
all right, guys. That'll do it. Any last words, guys? Anything to end with?
Thanks for joining us.
Subscribe, follow. Thank you. We love you.
And happy birthday again to Steven. And
happy birthday, Steven.
Yeah, happy birthday and thanks for being a long time follower of Growth Gore and Gin. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, brother. You have a good one.
You.
All right. Other than that, all right. We'll see you next time, guys. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.